first off, to begin a trade, we know we need two pieces of information. We need the customer to fill out the trade appraisal information form, and we need their pictures of their vehicle. Now, the pictures, just so you know, need to be in a JPEG format, JPG extension. The reason is because when we load that into vAuto, the software that Provision has for sending that out to the appraisal team, they only allow the JPEG format. So if you don't have a way to convert files, because for example, I've had customers send me pictures from an Apple iPhone, and it comes in a format called HEIC. I've got a program that I found as an online conversion thing that will convert those HEIC photos over to JPEG photos. And I can share that link out with everybody. I know that sounds like a lot of gobbledygook, but it's really just a simple way to convert files from one format to another. But we need them in JPEG format to put them into vAuto. So again, the first thing you're going to get is you're going to get the form from the customer. It's got all the details of the trade. And I'm going to tell you what I do. You guys can do this how it works best for you, but I'm going to tell you how I've been doing the trades. Once I get your form, I print it out. I get your actual type form email from the customer, gives all the details. I print that out, and then I actually take all my notes on the back of it, and I'm going to show you that just close up to the screen here. I write down my notes on the back of that sheet. You guys do it how best works for you, but it's important that when you get your notes, like for example, the ranges that the trade appraisal group gives you, that you know what those ranges are and you put them into your notes in vAuto. I put them down on paper first because that works best for me, and I transfer that when I input everything into Zoho. So again, I print that off. I get the pictures. Then I'm ready to go. I go over to the vAuto, or the provisioning app, as Ted's referring to it as. And I'm going to see if I can pull that screen up here.
Hey, Brian. I was going to ask a question because this is a training video and we want to make sure that everybody's doing it the same way. What we've been doing is we just copy and paste all that information off the type form into the comments section down at the bottom of vAuto. Will that not work?
Well, I guess that's up to you guys. I mean, we specifically set up fields in vAuto, not vAuto, sorry, in Zoho. I'm sorry, say that again, Ted. Did you say you put it into vAuto that way, or you put it into Zoho that way?
For the appraisers to look at in vAuto, so.
Okay, you're copying exactly what? Because they don't necessarily need to see everything. Maybe just the like the last few questions or responses from the type form, like any added on options or any other details.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and go through it, and then if we have my own row.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick question? Are we going to have a different form for RVs and trailers, or just working off this one form?
Well, the way it sits right now, unless something changes, RVs and campers, I'm still going to be doing those. I'm still going to handle all the trades on the RVs and campers, as well as any customers that have a van do it that we're going to either trade for or do as just a straight buyback.
Oh, thank you. I didn't realize.
So unless something changes, I think the plan is right now is that anything that's a normal car, truck, SUV, just a simple basic trade, you guys as sales people are going to handle those. I think the whole purpose of this, and Ted, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is just to help streamline a lot of these. You guys are familiar with your customers and can input this information and get it going a lot faster. I think it's more of an efficiency thing. The things that are a little bit of an exception to the deal, like a camper RV or the van do-its, I'm going to continue to still handle those. Okay, let me see if I can present my screen for vAuto here. try and do the win. See.
I want to see the whole screen.
Well, I'll do the whole screen if I can, your entire screen, but how do I connect on to just that? Let's see. How do I separate that? Can you guys see that on my screen yet? What do you guys see for me?
Does it show you're presenting, Brian?
No. Let's
Just
see.
down at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, it says present now.
Yeah.
On that, and then it'll say, do you want to present a screen or a particular whatever? So then you click on the screen you want to present.
Yeah, when I click on screen, and it's not allowing me to choose what screen. When it says share your entire screen,
You have to open another window. So, like, take your screen that you're in currently, the V-Auto, and take it out of the web. Like, right now, you only just have one window open.
Yeah, so group it over like we used to do our status doc out of the group.
okay, give me 1 second to try that. Sorry guys, this is new to me here.
You're good.
Hey, we've all been in your shoes, Brian, because I didn't know, and Alan had to help me every single time I was trying to present.
Okay. Shrink that down just a bit to fit. Okay, now let me try this. Okay, can you see that now? It says
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so you got provision up. The first thing I do when I go in to put in a new one, I just go to appraising. First off, does everybody use the same login, or do you have your own unique login?
They have their own login.
Okay, so once you're logged in, the first thing I do is I go to appraising, and I go to new appraisal. Okay, does everybody see this screen now?
Yes.
Okay. I just simply, what I do is I take the email and I cut and paste the VIN, because obviously a VIN is 17 characters long. There's a chance for you to mistype something. I cut and paste it from the email, paste it in there, and then fill in all the other information, your odometer, your year, your make, your model. One thing that I think is important that you also do is over here on the right side under customer information, put in the first name and put in the last name of your customer. That is a simple way in the V-Auto software for you to pull it up later. It's just by the customer's name.
Brian, we've also been putting the email information in the zip code. Should we not be doing that?
I never did, honestly, because we keep all that information over in VIN Solutions for the customer on the Woody side, as well as we keep it on Zoho. So to me, I think it's unnecessary to put that over here. I only put the name in there just for a simple, quick search lookup reason.
Can I help you?
So I'm going to say it's probably going to save you a little bit of time if you only just put that name over here in that customer information. So anyway, you've got your VIN number, odometer, your make, model, and then your name. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is scroll down here to vehicle photos. Let's see if I can widen this just a touch. I'm going to okay. Under vehicle photos, I just simply come down and I hit the plus, and it comes up to this add more files. Well, all you're going to do here is you're just going to drag and drop in your photos for your vehicle, and then just come down and you hit the upload button. That's going to upload them. Again, what I said to start with is they need to be in a JPEG format. Otherwise, this V-Auto software won't accept it. Any questions on the JPEG format? What I'm talking about?
I've not had
had trouble just uploading, like on the Provision app on my phone, just uploading photos from my phone.
Okay.
I haven't either.
Okay. Okay. If you have the ability to do it straight on the app, that's fine. Where it's also handy on the app is if you happen to be with the customer, you can simply use the app to scan in the barcode that's usually found on the inside door frame of the vehicle. And that gives you all of your year, make, model, all the information about the vehicle. But anyway, you get logged in here, you upload all the photos, you get that in there. Then I scroll all the way down to the bottom under comments. Under comments, I come down, I hit the plus, and I come in and I put in all the information. Now, Ted, here's where you're saying you cut and paste. What exactly are you guys cutting and pasting and putting down here in comments?
We're putting on the type form, all the comments like condition, any special notes they have, all the information on the type form. We're putting that in there so the appraisers can see all that.
Okay. Okay, I think that will work. I think that's a good idea because that's what I was doing. I was putting that same kind of information in here. Basically, anything you get from the customer that identifies things on their vehicle, you want the appraising team to be able to know. But here's one other thing that I think is important to do. What you ought to start out with before you cut and paste, or even after, I should, let's say, we should probably be consistent and say probably at the start of your comments, you need to put in here VDI trade. Just like this, because that's going to identify to the appraising team that this is specifically a Van Do It trade and it's not just like a normal trade that's coming in for Woodies.
But Brian, we also have a special texting group so they know that it's a VDI trade as well.
Okay, that brings up another point here. You guys have a separate one. I need to make sure that I'm a part of that group because the appraising group that you were sending it to or have been, I don't think I'm a part of any of those trades. So please add me to that group or whoever's doing that. So anyway, you can use that separate group or you can just put VDI trade in here. It's just some way it needs to be identified that this particular trade coming in is for Van Do It. When you're talking with the customer, and here's one of the changes that I think that we need to make, and it might be a change we need to make to the trade form itself. Might be up for discussion, but we need to know when are we getting this trade? Is it going to be something that we're going to be getting the trade early from a customer? They want to turn it in early, or is it going to be something they're going to continue to drive or use the trade until the their Van Do It van is built? Because that's going to determine whether or not we need to put depreciation on the offer. For example, I had one that I did for Leon's customer the other day, and I did not ask that question. I didn't ask him, is this something you're going to turn in early? Is this something you're going to continue to drive? Well, it turned out that they were going to continue to drive it, and that obviously makes a difference on the amount of offer we're going to want to give them. So I had to go back to them and explain to them that I was giving them a value as of right now, and he understood that, and so he accepted the depreciation that we settled on. So my question is to you, Ted, right now is who is doing the actual negotiation with the customer? When you get the values back from the trade team and you get all these different ranges, who's taking that and coming up with, okay, here's a starting point, and then presenting that and negotiating that with the customer?
The salespeople are. If it's easy, if it's hard, I'm doing it.
Okay. Okay. Well, again, knowing those ranges and keeping track of those notes, like I said, I printed out and I write my ranges down and then what was agreed upon. All that information, putting that into Zoho is going to be important for me down the road when we go to get that vehicle actually on the deal, whether I've got to do paperwork early or at the time of their Van Do It final paperwork. Having all that information in there is going to be important. Then once you have got everything in here, you're going to push it out to the group that you do, negotiate it out with the customer, and then once you come to agreed amount of the trade, that's when you fill out your trade allowance form and you send that to Stacy. That trade allowance form should be out there under documents on Zoho. Then Stacy sends that out through Zoho Sign. It'll come back, and Stacy, tell me if I'm wrong, but doesn't that remain the same where it would come back for a manager to sign?
Yes, it comes back for Ted's signature, so Ted knows that negotiation has been completed since he's involved in the conversation with the sales team.
Okay, good deal.
Yep.
Okay, so then the trade allowance form then is signed by the customer, comes back, Ted signs on it, and it's good to go, and Stacy prints that off and it goes into the file. But again, it's important that all those details, and I keep saying this, but make sure that all the details, comments, and information on it, we keep our notes put into Zoho. So it's good to refer back to, it's good for me later on down the road, and so on and so forth.
Brian, could you show us where you put notes in?
Yeah, let me share that screen too.
And I think that's the big thing that we were missing is the range of the notes, and then what else?
Lease back. So we need to, it was the notes on the trade were depreciation, lease back, the ranges we were given.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's also in the section on Zoho. And so I think Brian's trying to share his screen on that piece of it to show you guys how and where that goes.
Yeah, can you give me 1 second to get that in place?
And an idea why that information is used. We use it. I get a report every week. Brent gets a copy of the report. Jared gets a copy of the report. We actually look at the trades. It tells us all the trades that we have active and the trades that are finalized. It tells us what the range was. And we can also look what we allowed so that we can see that we are, if we have any pending trades, if we want to give more to try to get the deal done.
Okay. Sorry, it's taking me just a second to share that screen as well.
And guys, those of you that have used the new sales checklist, which all of you should be now, on that list, whenever you look at a trade on there or under the trade, it lists out all of the steps for you. So you'll know that this is what I need. This is the next thing I need to do. I've sent the trade form over. So it'll walk you through those steps. And it also includes this piece here that Brian is getting ready to show you how to do.
Okay. Can everybody see that screen right there for Zoho? Okay. I'm going to pull one up as an example. This is customer Repco. So I just simply search on the name Repco. If you go down to the deal on here, if there is a deal, I entered into the deal. If you guys are entering this before it becomes a deal at the lead, you'll put it on the lead, and then when it gets converted to a deal, that'll convert over. But in this case, I'm just going to pull it up here in the deal. Scroll over. Well, this is a small screen. Hang on one second. I'm going to resize my screens. Okay. Let's see. Scroll this over. If you just simply hit edit on there, you're going to scroll down. You're going to see right here, you're going to see the year, the make, the model. Does everybody see that? Editing on the deal. So in here, I've got the year, the make, the model. This was a Class A RV, the agreed trade amount, the trade range. Again, here's your trade range. Now, you're going to get multiple trade ranges when you get this information back from the trade group. So what I usually do is, if somebody says, in this example, I put down 10 to 13,000. Some people may say 10 to 12. Some people may say, 10 to 13. Just take the widest range and put the widest range in there. In this case was 10 to 13. We agreed at 11. And then down below, under finance notes, this is where I put down in here kind of my last notes about it. That he signed the trade agreement and he's sending the VIN. But if you have to, here's the important part. If you scroll down here, you see where it says marketing trade allowance. If you have to, and this is something that doesn't happen all that often, but Ted would be aware of it. If there was a trade allowance done, you're going to put that amount right down here. I very seldom have had trade marketing allowances put in here, so it's usually 0. So if you do have one, though, it needs to be put in there. But anyway, this is where it's at in Zoho. You put in the year, the make, model. Now, in this case, I don't have the VIN because I still don't have that from the customer. That is very rare. You'll always have the VIN when you're working with the stuff you guys do, normal cars, trucks, SUVs. Any questions on that?
This is a deal. It's the same layout and a lead.
Yeah, again, it's not necessarily the same layout, but it's the same information. If you enter it when it's on the lead, it will convert it over and put it into the deal. In this particular case, I just pulled it up on the deal. But yeah, it's the same fields either way.
Yeah, Josh, it'll be because you're on the lead side, you guys have a specific section that you want it set up. So you'll have to scroll down lower to get to the trade piece of that. But it is there. So that's what he means by it. So it looks a little bit different, but it's still there. You just have to move down to the bottom.
Most of the time, you guys are probably going to be entering it when it's a lead because you're going to know this stuff up front. Let's say, for example, a customer surprises you later and says, I'd like to put a trade on here. Well, you've already converted this thing over to a deal, so you'll have to enter the trade on this screen as a deal. Does that make sense? Okay. What else, Ted? Is there anything else you think we need to cover or questions we need to ask?
No, so just to recap, we input on provision like we've been doing, but the steps we've been missing is just inputting the information into Zoho, I think is basically where we're at, correct?
Yeah, but again, I think one of the important things that we need to, again, establish is we need to know when you're working with a customer, when are they wanting to relinquish their trade? Is it something that we're going to get early, or is it something that we're going to get as a true trade-in at the end of final paperwork